Hello and welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Layla, and for today's video, I'm giving y'all a financial review for all of 2023. This is also the first video of mine with the new intro. Do y'all like it? Please say yes, because I love it. There was one time I changed up the sound of my intro. I think it was just the sound. And so many of y'all were saying that you didn't like it. But with this one, I do really like it. But I do have the exact same version with the old sound. But I feel like this one is better. So let me know what y'all think. I can switch it up if you want me to. I do have like some with a flare going across, some with lines across the bottom. But anyways, that's obviously not the point of the video. This video is going to be all about my finances from 2023. Usually in these videos, I also give an update on the goals that I set for the year, but I made a separate video on that I actually uploaded in December. So I can link that down below. I tell you if I achieved my goals or if I didn't achieve my goals and just like kind of talking through them. So this will be a heavy focus on numbers. So my debt, my income, my passive income, which is always fun to look at, as well as my net worth and like what makes up my net worth, specifically my investments. So we're gonna start with my debt because I started 2023 with $36,000 of total student loan debt. That was the last of my debt. I know I talk about this a lot, but just in case you're new here, I did have a lot more debt than this several years ago. So back in 2018, I started with $82,200 of debt. And ever since then, that was my main focus. Like I was still saving, I was still investing throughout the last 5 years, but top priority was paying down my debts. So first I focused on my credit cards, and then I moved on to my car, and then finally student loans. But going into 2023, I still had $36,000 of student loan debt, but I had a pretty decent amount saved up in my high yield savings account because the student loans were still in forbearance and at 0% interest. So I knew going into the year that I would be able to save up the full $36,000, and I was waiting to see what would happen with the student loans. There was, back in 2022, they announced that they would be forgiving up to $20,000. Like I would have qualified for that $20,000. But then that went away, as y'all know, and then I was just waiting to see what would happen. Like if the student loans did come back and the interest started accruing again, I was like, all right, I'm just gonna completely pay it off. So let me give you some numbers. I had at the beginning of the year $24,721 saved out of the $36,000 that I needed. So that means I had to save an additional $11,279 in order to have enough to completely pay off my debt. And I was able to do that. I saved a little bit less, like 10,000 something by March of 2023. And because I had so much money, I had, that whole almost $36,000 in my high yield savings account, which was at a pretty high interest rate at the time and still is. So I knew that by the time student loans came back, like if we did have to start paying them back, the interest would accrue so much that I wouldn't need to save that extra like $500. So I did reach that $36,000 in savings, and then come September, right at September, or was that October? I think it was September when the payments resumed, or basically the interest started accruing, and I think we had to make our first payments in October. Before then, like August 31st, I set up a payment from my high yield savings account to my student loan debt to pay the whole $36,000 at one time. And it was really intimidating, a little bit upsetting, just because it took me, like a good 3 years to save up that money, at like 2.5 years, I would say. But still very, very proud of that accomplishment. Definitely one of the most exciting things and greatest accomplishments of my life. I don't care how silly that sounds. To me, just being totally debt-free is so cool and just something I'm very, very proud of. And y'all are a big part of that too. Like I had so much support throughout the time. I received a lot of direct support throughout the last couple of years where people were sending me money through Venmo or through Buy Me a Coffee, and I was putting that toward my debt. Y'all just being here, watching my videos, me talking about my finances, like that is so cool that y'all even want to watch me, but that has helped me tremendously. Like you just being here, seeing the ads on my videos, even if you skip them, like it still is helping me, and that has made everything go a little bit faster. So as always, thank you all so much for being here and being a huge part of my debt-free journey. I was documenting the bulk of it. So yeah, started the year with $36,000 of student loan debt. I had a big chunk of that saved up, but ended the year with $0 of debt as a whole. Let's talk about my income. This is going to be all my sources of income, and I'm going to break everything down. 2023 was a big year for me. This is the first time that I've ever made over 6 figures. And really, this is in thanks to having side hustles, for sure. So these numbers are from January 1st, 2023 through December 31st, 2023. These are all going to be my gross earnings. So I still had to pay, like, if I contributed to my 401k, paying taxes, those sort of things. From my full-time job, my gross income was $70,565. And this includes the bonus that I earned back in March. For my full-time job, I am a Salesforce consultant. And if you're in the Salesforce space, if you're a Salesforce consultant specifically, yes, I know I am underpaid. $70,000 is not that much money for what I do. In this space, you can make a lot more money. I have tried getting a different job. I interviewed earlier in 2023 for multiple jobs, but it's just a weird market right now. So for now, I decided I'm just gonna stay with my current company because it's remote, has good benefits, pretty flexible. I'm not like micromanaged. I really like my team, and that's really important. The other thing is I'm not going to stay in this job for too much longer. As y'all know, I am planning my sabbatical, and I'm fine with just like writing it out with this job while I build my business up on the side so I can take that full time, because Salesforce at the end of the day is not my passion. It is not fulfilling to me. It's just a means to an end, I guess. You know, that's like the common phrase to say. It's a means to get by, of course, and support me while I build my business. And it's helping me to save up a lot so that I can take everything full time and feel more comfortable with that. By the way, in 2023, when I started this job, my base pay was $60,000, which is very low. Now that I even, like, just saying that out loud sounds so ridiculous. I did get a raise in 2022. After like 7 months, I had asked for a raise. And then once I hit my year mark and we had like a performance evaluation, I did get promoted. So that came with a 12% pay increase. But that only bumped me to like $70,500 or so. So this was part of my old pay plus when I got promoted and then my bonus. So that's why it's the $70,500. All right. From my business income, I made $44,187. Again, these are gross earnings. Plus, I received an additional $1,600 in referrals. And those $1,600 are specifically from credit card referrals or checking account or savings account referrals. When I track these numbers, that's something I count in my extra income. So I'll give you that $1,600 is actually included in what I made from my extra income. But I just wanted to call out that that is directly related to my business income because it's from this YouTube channel. Like you'll see in my description box, I have a number of credit cards listed, a number of checking accounts and savings accounts. And if you use that link, then I usually am compensated for that in some shape or form. And there's usually like a limit, like I can only refer 5 people in the year. And like with Chase, I'm usually able to do that. With Discover, I got a couple of referrals. So yeah, just wanted to mention that. But overall, $44,187. That's the highest I've ever made from my business in 1 year. And then extra income, that came to a total of $12,227. And that does include the $1,600. And again, these are gross earnings. So some of these things I do have to pay taxes on, but some things I don't, just extra income. So altogether, if we add all 3 of those numbers up, I earned a total of $126,979 in 2023. Now I do want to run through my business earnings, like where that $44,000 all came from. And I'm going to go in order from smallest to largest. So first up would be courses. I have one course, finance course, and I actually recently launched that. That's always linked down below, Debt Free Blueprint. I think it's incredible, but it was kind of a business flop, and I hope it picks up because I think it has such valuable content in there. It's like what I teach when I coach people, but you can do it on your own, and there's like a ton of resources that you get with it. That's one thing, but I also have courses on my Living Like Layla platform. So that's like my lifestyle channel and blog. And that's like a goal achievement course and self-discipline. Those are also so good. Like I know that probably sounds weird to say, but I remember making those and watching them through and being so proud. So those are always linked down below too. Didn't do too great in courses for 2023. That came to $400. I already mentioned this, but I will put into, this is the next one, $1,600 from referrals, specifically from credit cards and checking and savings accounts bonuses. After that would be Etsy. That came to $2,016. I launched my Etsy, I think it was either December 2022 or in January, and it's a lot of Google Sheets, templates, and such, and then I started selling some stickers. So that's actually been really fun, a nice way to like do something one time, spend a good chunk of time on it, put it up, and then just like reap the benefits for a while. So kind of passive income, but yeah, Etsy has been really exciting. Thank you so much to everyone who has purchased from my Etsy shop and who have left reviews. Like, y'all are awesome. Hopefully my lighting's okay. It is like the gloomiest day and kind of close to the end of the day, so yeah, we'll see how that looks. Next would be direct support. So this came from Venmo, people sending me money through Venmo, or money coming from Buy Me a Coffee. So you can go through that platform and I get supported that way. Altogether, that came to $2,593. That is so nice of y'all. Thank you so much. The bulk of that came at the beginning of the year, so a lot went to my student loan debt and then after I started investing it. Okay, it is now storming, so you're gonna probably hear some rain in the background, maybe some thunder, but hopefully y'all don't hear it too much. Next up would be coaching. So I do offer one-on-one sessions. I help people to budget, to save, pay down debt, all the things. That came to $3,369. And I did count how many people I worked with this year. So I had a few people continue from the previous year. I worked with a couple of couples, like married couples. I had some returning clients, so I worked with them in previous years and then we stopped, but then they came back for a session. Altogether, it was 14 people that I worked with. That does include couples, so it's like a few more than that if you include the pair. But yeah, 14 sets of people, which is so exciting, and hopefully 2024 I can increase that because that's really my passion. That's really what fills me up. I love making these videos too, of course, but being able to like change somebody's financial outlook and financial situation directly and just like hold them accountable, guide them through decisions is so fun to me. Like I get this weird, I don't know, it just makes me so excited. After I finish a call, I usually get like super energized and I just like want to keep on going, that sort of thing, that's how I know like this is what I'm meant to do. This is my passion. This is what's fulfilling to me. So it's really cool to experience that and to have something in my life that actually does that. So thank you to all of you who have worked with me. I appreciate you trusting me to be a part of your journey, and I do always have spots open, so that's linked down below. Next up is Mediavine. These are display ads on my lifestyle blog, livinglikelaila.com. That came to $3,504. I have not written on this blog in years, but still earning income there, which is exciting. Next is affiliate/sponsorships, and there's a big jump up to this one. So that came to a total of $15,865. Honestly, this is primarily affiliate sales. So what that means is if you click a link of mine, it's kind of like a referral. If you click a link of mine, like Mint Mobile, if you click Talent Stacker, that is an affiliate link. And if you make a purchase through that link, then I receive a small commission. And yeah, it really just adds up. So those are my two main affiliates. It would be Mint Mobile and Talent Stacker. And then those are also my two main sponsors. I think those are my only sponsors from 2023. I do have some other affiliate sales in there though, because there's like Amazon. I worked with FlexiSpot, like the desk that I have. I did a video with them. Yeah, but this is definitely where I earn a lot of money, and there's a lot of earning potential just in general there. And then final one would be YouTube. My highest earnings, $16,438 gross. Now we're going to talk about my passive income, and this is in 4 main areas. So the first area would be just credit cards. Now this is just credit card cash back, not the bonuses. So this is just me doing my usual spending on credit cards. That came to a total of $1,054. And then bonuses. So bonuses would be from credit card sign up bonuses, checking account bonuses, and savings bonuses. That was a total of $2,775. 2023 was definitely my year for that. I opened so many checking accounts to take advantage of this, multiple savings accounts. I just made sure to do this before I actually leave my job and don't have this availability to do direct deposit how I have done this with all these bonuses. But that's been really fun for me. And I feel like once you start, there's you start getting stuff in the mail for other accounts to open, or you get emails from the companies to open things. So that's been really fun for me. Next would be my high yield savings account interest earnings. And I do have 3 high yield savings accounts, but the bulk of this is because of Marcus. So I opened 2 others so I could get bonuses, and I have tiny balances in those. So just know that the bulk of this was Marcus. Altogether, I earned $1,782, which I think is pretty good. And then the last number to share here would be dividend earnings. So this is from my brokerage accounts, my Roth IRA, and my 401k. And altogether that came to $580. I don't have too much invested. It's mostly the S&P 500 or total stock market, that sort of thing. So dividends aren't crazy in those. I just hit about 50,000, a little over 50,000 invested at the end of December. So yeah, nothing crazy there, but it is still cool to have your money working for you, and all of my dividends always just get reinvested back into those investments. All right, next up would be my savings and investments. And first I'm going to start with my savings. This is the combination of all of my sinking funds at the beginning of the year, excluding my student loan debt savings, because I kind of just had that separate, or just considered it separate. At the beginning of the year, I had a total of $9,650 saved. And then by the end of 2023, I had $28,810, which is an increase of $19,160. I've talked about this before, but with my sinking funds, some of them I put a lot of money in, and then I end up using it at some point. So for example, I saved up $7,000 in my Roth IRA sinking fund so that I could use it in 2024. So I saved up $7,000, and now that's all gone. There are some sinking funds that I add to on a monthly basis so that I can use it when I need it. So for example, this would be car maintenance. Throughout 2023, I was mostly adding 100 to it each month. And then when I get an oil change, or if I have some any sort of car maintenance, I pull from that to replenish that purchase. So that's how that works. In 2023, I was adding a lot of money, saving a lot of money, but I was still using some too when I needed to. Now for my investments, and I'm going to focus on my Roth IRA, 401k, and brokerage accounts. So Roth IRA started the year at $12,110. I did max that out, so I added $6,500. Well, actually I added more, because I didn't finish maxing out 2022 until January of 2023, so I think I added an extra $1,500 or so, but I did max it out in 2022 and 2023. At the end of the year, my Roth IRA was at $24,779, so that was an increase of $12,669. And by the way, my Roth IRA is all invested in VTSAX. Now for my 401k, I started the year at $5,910. I contributed $8,303, and then my company put in $4,305. So that's a total of $12,608 added. And then my 401k at the end of the year reached $21,262, which is an increase of $15,352. Next would be my brokerage account. So I do have one with M1 Finance, and then I also have one with Vanguard. I think I started the year just with M1 Finance, or I only had money in that one. So that started at $5,615. I did contribute $1,075 to my Vanguard brokerage fund throughout 2023. That's all invested in VGT, and M1 Finance is all VTI. And then by the end of the year, the total between the two came to $8,266. So that was an increase of $2,651. And then the final number to go over would be my net worth. Started 2023 at $23,301. Ended the year at $83,853. So that was an increase of $60,552. $60,000 in a year. That's a lot of money. I've never experienced that. I mean, I just paid off my debt. I just recently reached debt freedom. I just recently hit 50K invested. I'm still not at 100K net worth. I'm gonna get there very soon, and that's what I'm anticipating so much. But it's just so cool to, like, 2023 was a really good year for me financially. With these videos, just please know that I'm not like sharing anything to boast or brag. I hope that you can see, like, you can literally go back and see what things were looking like 4 years ago for me, and it was much different, you know? So hopefully y'all understand that this has been a journey, a slow journey, and sometimes it's not been easy. And I don't want people to look at my numbers, like from my income, my business, and be like, oh, it's so easy for her because she's like just getting it, it's just happening. But this has been years in the making. I know for a lot of these videos I end up like over explaining myself or giving these like justifications for why this is happening, but the reason I do that is because sometimes these are the first videos that people are watching of mine, and then they're comparing their self to my situation, even though it's kind of like when people say don't compare your day 1 to somebody's day 500, because that's exactly what you would be doing. Like, this is not my day 1. My day 1 was years ago, and I have gotten to this point by slowly getting through all of those really hard times. And the other day, for example, somebody commented like, watching your channel makes me really depressed or something like that. And I was like, why is that? And they said, because I like looking back and regretting my financial decisions. That's what they had responded. And that makes me sad because I don't want my videos to make somebody to feel bad about themselves. Like, I would never want to be like, hey, look at me, this is where I'm at and where you're not at, because that's not the point of these. You know, like, I'm documenting my journey, and hopefully you can go back, and I have hundreds of videos, and you can see that I started somewhere much further back than this. And yeah, hopefully that makes sense. If you haven't already, look back on your numbers, look at all of the numbers from 2023, the same ones that I went through, and you'll be surprised at what you accomplish. I know I talk about this on a quarterly basis, like definitely look at things on a quarterly basis, but it's even more exciting if you look at the full year, because the numbers can be insane. The progress you can make in a year is pretty incredible. And think about what things will look like if you look at a full 5 years or a full 10 years, 20 years beyond that. So there's just so much potential for you, and I hope that y'all go and look at your numbers if you haven't already. Please feel free to comment down below what your numbers are looking like, any of the things that you want to share. Please comment those down below. I love to see it and it celebrated in this community. Otherwise, thank y'all so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you in my next one.